If you're planning to invest in a backyard wedding and want your wedding day to go perfect, make sure you avoid these mistakes. If you want to add a personal touch to your marriage and have dreamt of marrying your future spouse in your childhood home, then a backyard wedding is the one to cherish forever. Backyard weddings can turn cumbersome if these considerations are not avoided. It involves a lot of work. Make sure you plan it out effectively to make your day go perfect. Here we present you the 13 most common mistakes brides make when planning a backyard wedding. Before we start, subscribe to Best for Brides. If you want your big day to go perfect, then don't get this misconception about saving money. The budget alone will go over $10,000, including the cost of the dance floor, rentals, tents, lighting and decor, flooring, chairs, tables, and other expenses. Number 13. Don't have a backup plan. It's essential to have a backup plan B if things don't go as planned. It's essential to evaluate your budget to see whether it will be feasible for you to rent a tent, as tents can be costly. Or if you have got enough space to have the reception and wedding inside the house, then why not make the most of that space to save some extra bucks? What if it rains on your wedding day? Hence, it's necessary to plan for the big day. Number 12. Forget about the insurances and permits. It's essential to be aware of the local laws related to noise regulation in your city. Figure out if there's a requirement for special permits. Have you got insurance if something goes haywire and your property gets damaged? Make sure you get it insured. Also, arrange all the permits for the vendors. Number 11. Skip the food setup. You'll need to plan ahead of time for the menus. Make sure you notify the catering company about the location. If you are restraining the people from working without a kitchen, you will have to design the menu considering the weather. Make sure your chefs are well informed about the environment before finalizing the menus. If you're planning a wedding in the summer, then you might need to spend some more money on extra food rentals. You will need umbrellas or canopies to offer shade for food staff. It will also ensure that the food is covered. Number 10. Don't invest in a generator. Planning a backyard wedding isn't easy, especially when vendors are there to use your home's power service. Your home's power system will automatically get strained when adding extra lights. Also, a generator is a must if you're inviting a DJ for the reception or need to charge the phones throughout the day. You wouldn't want your wedding to suffer when the DJ starts and your house loses power. Hence, it's essential to consider hiring or purchasing a generator to ensure a hassle-free wedding. Number 9. Don't add enough lights. A backyard wedding is always incomplete without lights. Think about the dawn when the sun has set, and it can get extremely dark. How would you manage to eat, drink, dance, and cut the cake? Hence, get proper lighting and, if needed, arrange for more ahead of time. Number 8. Not deciding restroom rentals. A terrible backyard wedding blunder would be failing to address the restroom situation. If you don't mind the guests using your bathroom, make sure your house is connected to city water. Generally, septic systems are incapable of handling the number of flushes generated from dancing, drinking, and eating. If you don't want to set up the septic tank in the middle of the wedding, ensure you get it arranged before the marriage. No bride would want to deal with this issue in the middle of her special day. Number 7. Forget about your neighbors. No neighbor would want to pull an all-night stand caused by music and ceremony. Make sure your neighbors are informed about the events and ceremonies taking place in your backyard ahead of the wedding. Causing nuisance can piss off neighbors, especially if they don't know what's going around. Number 6. Skip the bug spray. Bugs can be a problem at your wedding, hence be prepared with bug spray. Spray it to keep mosquitoes and other pests away from your wedding. You wouldn't want your guests to wonder why they were scratching their backs at the time of dancing. Number 5. Don't pass on parking plans. For instance, if you have 40 guests for your backyard wedding, odds are there will be around 40 vehicles to park. It might sound like you're inviting fewer guests. But when it comes to parking, if they are going to go in cars, you'll need a hefty amount of space for parking. If you're going to utilize hotel services or plan to have valet service, make sure you inform your neighbors ahead of the wedding. They will be aware that the roadway will get busy on the eve. Number 4. Not doing site visit with vendors. Before planning a backyard wedding, it's essential to visit the vendors to plan out the space and ground. If you're good on a budget and are thinking of hosting a backyard wedding, then a tent could be an excellent option to consider. If you're planning to get tents, make sure there's sufficient space in them. It will include your reception day, and the cooking staff might demand a cooking tent too. You will need a site visit with a company to figure out the space to ease out everything ahead of the wedding. Before the visit, you have to be aware of catering needs, as once the site visit is done and they have put forward the quote, and it's not possible to put up the tenting proposal. Number 3. Wedding planning checklist. Make sure that all the caterers visit the site to figure out the location and break down all the information related to food preparation and space. This way, the company will be well aware of the information. Once vendors figure it out, the company can put forward the tent proposal to outline the floor plan. Further, you can discuss the designs of the dance floor and guest tables. Number 2. Let your guests get bored. With new state laws emerging due to the pandemic, it isn't easy to get back to grooving on the packed dance floors like it used to be. If you avoid the crowded dance floors, it's essential to think about guests and the entertainment. If you want some background music, a string quartet is a brilliant option. As a substitute for dancing, you can incorporate a bunch of enjoyable activities into your backyard wedding. While listing down some fun activities, you can also consider social distancing. You can consider playing lawn games. They have always been popular in backyard weddings and are fun to play with. When contemplating lawn games, nothing can beat cornholes. You can easily customize these hole boards for your wedding guests. You can keep them out all night. Jenga is yet another game to consider for an outdoor wedding. It doesn't occupy much space, so it will work even if you have a small backyard. The guests can pull them out and utilize these blocks for writing their good wishes. Later, it can also be served as a guest book. Number 1. Not considerate of everyone's health. People have started paying more attention to their health ever since the pandemic. Because of COVID, people have shelved their weddings as they wanted to do them in full swing. Fortunately, things have started looking up, and weddings are taking a new turn, so it's essential to consider your guests' health. They will feel warm and respected when you show polite behavior about their health. Wearing the mask is most likely the last thing to consider in weddings. However, it's essential to comply with the protocols and wear a mask to ensure safety. You can show how much you care about them by offering super protective masks like N95 masks. They are pretty safe. You can place them all in a basket and inform the guests to pick one before entering. You can serve them personal sanitizers or even add sanitizer stations in some locations to ensure proper safety. You can even customize the sanitizers by adding labels mentioning the wedding date and your name. You can either place them in baskets and drop them in different locations or keep them on each chair. This is a cute way to make them feel concerned, and they will surely appreciate this gesture. The takeaway. These common mistakes can help you turn your mundane wedding into a splendid backyard wedding. Planning out everything ahead of the wedding not only ensures effective spending but will also leave you hassle-free on the day of your wedding. Rushing through the things at the end of the moment only gets messy, which no one wants. I hope avoiding these mistakes will help you save extra money and ensure rational spending. If you found our video interesting and useful, then subscribe to Best for Brides now for more related videos.